Let me show you how you can use OpenRouter models inside of Cursor. Don't worry, it's really simple. The first thing that we need to do is create an account and sign in to OpenRouter.ai. Once you've created an account, go to the upper right and hover over your icon. Then select Keys from the drop-down menu. Now it should take you to a page that looks something like this, where we have our API keys. If you haven't created an API key before, you won't have anything here. And all we have to do to create one is click this button to create key. Then inside the pop-up, we just need to give it a name. So for my instance, I'm going to name it Cursor. Once you give it a name, hit the create button. Now that your key is created, make sure that you hit this clipboard button immediately so that you can copy this key. Because once you close out of this modal, once you close out of this little window, this key is gone forever. I mean, you can't get it back. So this is the only chance that you have to copy it and put it into the place that we need to put it. If you happen to misclick or you accidentally lost this key, don't worry, you can always create a new one and use it in the process that I'm going to show you. So once we've hit the clipboard, we can exit out of this. Now that we're inside a Cursor, we need to use that API key. So we need to go up to the upper right and click on this cog to open the Cursor settings. Then once you're in settings, go over to the left to where it says models and click on it. Now you might have a bunch of models here that are selected. You'll want to deselect every single one that you have in this list. Once you've deselected all of them, go ahead and scroll down to the Open API Key section. Inside of here, this is where we're going to paste the API key that we have copied to our clipboard. Once you've pasted that key, you also have this little drop down here that we need to click on. This is where we're going to override the OpenAI base URL with the one from OpenRouter. Now I'm going to paste the OpenRouter URL here, but I will also have it in the description so you can go and get it there. Basically, it's just https://openrouter.ai/API/v1. Once you add that URL, go ahead and hit the save button right next to it. Now that we have it saved, we need to add a model from OpenRouter onto our models page. To do that, we want to go back to OpenRouter.ai and then click on the models button up here. Now, depending on what models you want to use, you can search through this entire list. I personally always scroll down on this left-hand sidebar and go down to the supported parameters and select tools. This will now only show models that allow for tools. And being able to interact with tools is really important if we want to use the agent inside of Cursor. I'm also going to go to the prompt pricing and slide this slider all the way down to free and just show the free models that are tools. Now this Mistral Small 3.1 24B model seems perfect for what we want to use. So when we click on it, we come to this page and you'll notice we have this little clipboard button right next to the name of the model. We want to click that so that we copy the name of the model and then we'll go back to Cursor. Inside of Cursor, at the bottom of the list of models, we want to add a new model. From here, we just paste in that model name that we just copied. Now we can just click on add model and it will automatically be checkmarked so that we can use it. But before we use it, we need to verify the OpenAI API key that we're using for OpenRouter. So to do that, we click on this verify button underneath this section. Now it's asking us if we're sure we want to enable our own OpenAI API key. And yes, we do want to enable it. We know what we're doing. Once that completes, you should have this switch and it should switch on to green. And now we're able to use the OpenRouter models. So now in the upper right, let's use the agent. And right now it's set to auto. Since we don't have any other models selected in this models list, it will just choose the single model that we have. But we can also manually choose it. If we click this down arrow on the auto and then select Mistral Small 3.1 24B, we can select that and now we're using that model for our prompting. Now I'm going to go ahead and add context here and select the compression go file. And I'm going to ask it what's in this file. Now it automatically generates the response and we get it directly from OpenRouter. Now we don't just have to use this Mistral 3.1 small 24B, whatever model. We can use any model inside of OpenRouter. We can even use ones that are paid for. So cool. It says in summary, this file provides functionality for compressing and resizing images, which is exactly what it does. So this is neat because you're not just limited to OpenAI models or Anthropic models or Google models. You can use literally any model that is supplied by OpenRouter. So that is how you can configure and use OpenRouter models inside of Cursor.